All right, example 5. Diagram TVNP is a parallelogram. Now, what does that mean? That means that all of the opposite sides are parallel to each other. The left-hand side is parallel to the right-hand side. The way we represent that is with an arrow. Kind of like if we wanted sides to be represented as congruent, we would put a tick mark there and put a tick mark there. So parallel, that's when you put arrows on the line. Not at the end of the line, like it would on a graph, but actually on the line, like kind of in the middle there. So a single arrow and a single arrow tells me that these two sides are parallel. And then I did a double arrow here and here because these sides are not parallel to these two. They're only parallel to each other. So I need different notation. I need to use double arrows. Right? If I had a third set of lines, I would use triple arrows. All right, anyway, so that's what a parallelogram is. Okay, so that means we're going to need to recall some of that information about the parallel lines and transversals. If you wanted to, some people like to extend these lines so that it looks a little bit more like that diagram from the front, and you can see the parallel lines and you got transversals cutting through, all that good stuff. Or just stick with this idea. If they look the same, they are the same. If not, they're supplementary. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Angle T, that's this one in the corner. All right, the other way you could name, just this is kind of a side note, the other way that you can name an angle is with 3 letters. If I'm trying to refer to this angle, I want to use that as my middle letter. So I could call this angle T, or I could call it angle PTV. I could even go the other direction. I could call it angle VTP. But the catch is that if I'm trying to refer to this angle, T needs to be my middle letter. If I wanted to refer to this one, I could call it angle N, or I could call it angle PNV, or I could call it angle VNP. But that has to be my middle letter. All right, so I just kind of labeled those. Find the measure of angle T. Well, I can find the measure of that if I know the value of X. So I'm going to need to set up an equation and solve. What kind of angle is angle T? It's obtuse. Oh, what about this one? Is that obtuse or acute? That is obtuse, and since they look the same, that means that they are the same. I can set those expressions equal to each other, which I did, and I solved my equation. I got an answer of 25. That is not the angle measure, that's just the value of X. I had to find the measure of angle T, so I need to plug that 25 back into that expression. And that's what I did right here. Plugged it in for X, worked it out, and we get 128 degrees, which means that yes, angle N is also 128 degrees. Not that we needed to find it, but just a reference.